You see before you a young, cute, gnomish girl with very short pixie brown hair, currently playing the flute. Who kind of looks over at you and gives you kind of a winky grin. So you pull out your flute, and the other gnomish girl with her flute as well kind of gives you a look, and you guys start weaving together this kind of like flute duel, almost like Flight of the Bumblebees, but two conflicting sides.
Can me and the other flutist end with an impossibly long-held note?
You both inhale, almost like through eye contact. You know what's coming? And you both just hold, and you can see her eyes start to get tense and bloodshot. Her face starts turning beet red. All the rest of the music stops, and everyone just kind of gathers around. The air leaves the room as everyone seems to kind of lean in, and eventually she gives up and exhales and inhales sharply, dizzied by it, but still smiling, and you can only imagine the blurred romantic tunnel vision she has in your direction as you carry it for about 3 seconds more, and then end with a trill at the end.
Kaylie, that was some fine playing. I might have a tip or two about breath control.
Sorry, not all of us are quite as old and seasoned as the others.
Jesus well, I've learned quite a thing or two in my years, and sometimes it would it might interest you to take a little private tutoring session sometime.
Scanlan Shorthalt. You know, I've heard quite a bit about you.
My legend is spread far and wide, I'm sure.
Indeed. And I know better than most ladies that may cross your path.
You may change your tune. Draw a little help over here. You had us, and then you lost.
The man, the myth, and the legend is true. So, in case you wanted to find out.
She gives you a look over. Looks over at Scanlan.
Yeah, that, we're close, we're tight, she and I. She's come back for more.
A holy woman?
Oh, shit.
She's got holes in all the right places. Oh! I don't know what I'm doing here.
She actually, at that point, goes... turns around. Doctor, you weren't kidding. This one's certainly a card. And she gives you a wink and passes a drink your way across the table.
I walk over to Kaylie, and I say, my dear Kaylie, I'm sorry if we got off on a weird foot. I have that effect on people sometimes. Especially...
Your feet are weird. That's interesting.
Especially lovely to look at young ladies who are
Smaller than I expected, those feet.
Well, you know what they say.
I do.
Wait, no, don't.
I know what they say.
No, don't. That's not what. Anyway, I was impressed with you up there. Your skills with the flute are remarkable. I was wondering if I could have a little fun tonight and challenge you to a flute off. We go up on stage, we ask the audience for
A flout off.
A flout off?
Suggestions, and we see who can last the longest and blow the hardest. If you win, I'll give you whatever's in my purse. And if I win, I get a kiss.
Somehow I think I'm still getting this shit end of the deal.
Yes.
But I'm one for fun at the very least.
Right.
It's a deal.
No, don't worry.
You guys shake on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the first ever flout
Get into
off,
the kitchen?
flutist off, flute duel, featuring me, Scanlan Shorthalt, and you, Kaylie.
Kaylie's fine.
Kaylie's fine, everyone. All eyes up here. It'll be a great show.
At this point, Nottingham's like, oh, this'll be interesting. Haley is trying to keep up, and you can see her face starting to go red. She's determined on this, and she keeps continuing with pushing this into an improvisational flurry of notes that completely walks around your performance previously done.
Oh, shit.
And you find yourself having to take a step back as she begins stepping up onto the table, and now, even at her gnomish height, is looking over the entire crowd as people who previously were not as interested are starting to turn around and look towards you two
I
playing.
can't be one-upped. I use minor illusion to create sort of a mirror image of myself over myself, also playing the flute.
You can see now the volume of her flute playing begins to pull back as you begin to step up onto the same table next to her, twice as high now with the illusionary Scanlan above you, almost like those awkward middle school superimposed photos of yourself in the upper corner. With this note, you bring once again the same duel that you guys had when you first entered the tavern, and you and Kaylie are facing off, looking directly at each other, furiously going on your flutes,
Just blowing at each other.
eyes locked, tapping your feet heavily against the actual wood of the table, which is a poof, poof, the rhythmic pounding of your feet and the drums, because the entire room now also slamming their tables in with it as the music builds and builds, until eventually you both take one deep breath and go for that same sustained note a second time. She's challenging you at the game she lost last time. And the two of you both swell into this cacophonous spray of music that hits this one final note that pierces through, and all the slamming stops, and everyone just waits to hear how long it'll go. It carries and carries and carries and carries and carries. The breath never seems to end. Roll another performance roll.
Come on, Scanlan!
Nails everything. It's a 22, but I'm gonna let her win.
As you begin to trail off the sound of the note, you can see she's starting to already go a little blue in the face, determined to win this, and she's about to falter. You could win this if you want to, but are you going to let her?
With a wink, I end my note.
As the flute leaves your lips and you go into a fake gasp of air, she finishes on a high piercing tune, a trill, and then finishes off, carrying the flute away with a smile as your illusion fades, and the crowd continues.
Ladies and gentlemen,
again to
Kaylie's
cheer.
fine! Ladies and gentlemen!
You're good, but I'm better.
I just tip my hat to her and say, "Yes, ma'am. It seems that tonight you are." All right, I kick her. I don't know. What am I? I kick her 100 gold.
What? Excuse me?
Said your
What?
purse.
Is she gonna inspect it?
You
Maybe
reach
if you
over and
let her
just grab
inspect
your
your
purse. Are you gonna start thumbing through your purse and pulling out gold? She
Uh,
goes, no, your purse. You bet your purse.
I mean, that was a figure of speech, right?
You totally let her win and you're gonna give her all your money?
He forgot about that part.
Drunk, he's drunk.
We
He
shook
forgot
hands.
about it.
I spit in it. Looks over to Dransel. Dransel goes, I did hear you say a full purse.
Oh, I hope there's so much money in that bag.
He forgot about it.
My dear, a deal is a deal.
The things you do for women.
Not give her your money! Scanlan, don't
What are you doing,
do
Scanlan?
it.
There was a piece of advice that ever lived.
I untie
Do
the
not give
purse
her money.
and I hand it over to
You take any of the gold out secretly before you hand it over to
Not
her?
there.
Such a life lesson.
All right. Takes it. How much was in there?
2,600.
Oh!
Holy
Takes the change person.
Oh God! Oh God!
She's gonna
Let
feel
it be
that.
known throughout this tavern that Scanlan Shorthalt is a man of his word.
Thank you, my dear.
Not much else.
She takes the change first and flicks it away, and it vanishes in a puff of smoke. She goes, it's a lot of coin.
I get around a lot.
Perhaps we'll have a drink later. And she steps off the table.
They
I
can
have a
stay
rather
involved.
large bed if Kaylie would like to take that. I could sleep on the floor. That's
You
fine.
invited them to stay because you want to bone Kaylie?
Well, are you really
Excuse me,
cock
not
blocking
just
right
say
now?
that out loud,
Are you
please.
cock blocking in the keep?
As you're saying this, Kaylie's just watching this with a smirk on her face. Well, I'm not one to turn down a soft bed for an evening.
Yeah, can't wreck that game.
The couple rooms are kind of crowded up with the other folks, except for Kaylie, who is following you, Scanlan, with a bottle of wine and 2 glasses.
Oh my.
Oh dear.
She's gonna rob you blind.
As you all go to your your various rooms, Kaylie pulls out the chair and the chair and the table in the far end of the bedroom, sits down and begins to pour glasses of wine and sits across. You guys have drinks and begin various conversations about. She's that good of a flute player. So she asks you about your history and kind of your travels and how you met Dr. Dransel and everything.
I tell her all the best parts and leave out the naughty bits.
Interesting tale.
Kingslayer,
Right, I
leader
remember.
of a rebellion, you know.
So you've said a number of
Yes.
times. She kind of drinks a little bit more of the wine, sits it down. I guess I should tell you a bit about myself then.
Yes, please. I'm fascinated.
Well, I grew up in Kymel, mostly, before moving to Westerun to train at the College of the White Duke. Finest of the birds he was.
Yes.
My mum gave all her savings to put me up there. Now, I only joined the troop about 6 months back. It was my 3rd year at the Duke's when the good doctor came through, and well, I seized the opportunity. Now, to be perfectly honest up front, I've already heard a bit about your tale, Shorthalt. The charming of the Pauper Prince, your rendition of Summer's Sunder at the cliffs of Dagger Bay. I've been hoping our paths would cross.
Well, I'm flattered, and you have quite a lot of talent for just having played with the troupe for 6 months. I was impressed back there.
Thank you very much. You know, I've heard most of these stories. My mother, Sybil.
Who?
Sybil, a fine gnomish lass. She was some years ago. She came across a smooth silver-tongued flautist who blew through like the wind and disappeared. Took her innocence with a promise, then vanished just as suddenly. Left her a child to raise on the income of a quilter, she did. Now, growing up, I hear tale and tale of your musical feats, as my mother took on a 3rd job to support us. A few bad harvests just south of Silvercut. Being the only tiny female fair folk in such a rural town means being preyed upon, so I learned to use a blade quickly. And to wield my charm just as viciously. Seems that runs in the family, eh?
I
practiced. I stole. Lied about my age and eventually paid my way into the Duke's College so I can find you. Prove you a scoundrel. At this point, you see her stand up. She begins to draw a small blade from her side.
Oh my god!
Her face is hardened and still as she stares at you. You see a slight tremble in her hand. This day, Scanlan Shorthalt, I beat you at your own song. Now I come to take your dignity. Now take up your sword.
First of all, Kaylie, it's so wonderful to meet you.
Don't try it on me.
No! Listen, I have my faults, for sure, but I didn't know that you existed. I would have come to visit, I would have come to meet you. How can you fault me for something that I did not know about?
Do you even remember, Sybil?
I mean, could you describe her a little more detailed?
Yikes.
Make a,
Oh man.
just make a wisdom check. Just roll a d20, add your wisdom modifier.
Okay. Wisdom, which is a -2. 16.
16. You vaguely recall Sybil. She had golden hair, very eager to escape her simple beginnings, and very clingy very quickly. You jumped out of there very fast,
Level
from
5.
your perspective.
Ah, yes, Sybil. She was passionate, intelligent. Really, a lot of handsy, sort of. I mean, I think I remember her quite well, and she was a wonderful person, and you should be honored to have such a wonderful person as your parent, and not someone like me, because I was a scoundrel. You're right.
You are a scoundrel.
I have been in past moments in my life a scoundrel.
Do you even realize you nearly invited your daughter up to sleep with you?
I mean, feel
You don't
like
care.
I wouldn't have let it go that far.
You have no boundaries. You take what you like and you keep walking on. You trick folk. Now draw your blade.
I don't want to fight you, if that's what you're insinuating. Listen, I know that I've made mistakes in my life. I've admitted as much before, and I don't know why I'm this way. I must need to do a lot of soul searching to come up with an answer, but there is a woman who I love very dearly and who I would do anything for, and I'm trying to be a better person. I haven't been to a whorehouse in months. That's a big step for me. Big step. I know that sounds callous and cruel, but I've tried to be a better person. If you're here to fight me, I'm afraid you're going to be terribly disappointed, because I will just let you kill me if that's what it takes. I didn't know you existed, and my heart is breaking 100 times now for not knowing it. Every year that you've been alive is a year I could have been a better person and known someone who could have made me a better person, and I'm only sorry that I didn't know it. If there's anything I can do for you from now on, if you are truly my blood, I will, because among my many faults, ego is certainly one of them, and knowing you're part of me makes me love you even more.
Make a persuasion check. With advantage for that speech.
Persuasion
Is
check?
it-
With advantage.
It won't matter.
Is there a manipulation check?
32.
No, said it won't matter.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Oh
She
shit,
rolls
she's
high,
big,
too.
she's big.
the bard.
As she stands there with her blade out, kind of staring at you, you can see like the veins in her neck tensing.
I slowly
quivering.
unbutton my shirt and show her my chest and say, "Stab me right here if you'd like, and I will not resist. You've earned it. Take me."
You see the tear begin to roll down her cheek as her jaw clenches. And she thrusts forward and rolls a natural one.
A natural
Oh,
one.
a natural one.
As she goes to strike towards you, even in that moment, her will falters and the blade just falls limp. It hits your chest, and you feel the piercing of something pushing into your flesh, but no more than maybe half an inch, as there's no real force behind the blade. And as the hand releases her weapon, it clatters to the ground as her momentum carries her arms around your shoulders.
Oh man.
As she holds you there, her kind of tousled, short pixie brown hair, you can feel the wetness across the back of your neck, and you just hear her voice trembling in your ear say, "Why? Why can't I do it? All the years building up to this, and I have the chance, and I can't do it."
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that you're going through this, and I'm more sorry that you're going through this by yourself. But I think deep down, you're a short halt, and there's something that you have that's connected to me, and I to you, and perhaps I misread that as some sort of icky attraction, and I apologize, but I've known for a while now that something is missing in my life, some sort of focus and some sort of moral compass, and maybe it's just arrived at my doorstep.
You say that, and her arms kind of tense for a minute, like an involuntary, just trying to pull you closer. Then they lax, and she steps away, kind of averting her gaze, keeping her head down. She bends down and picks up her blade. Doesn't sheath it, just holds it limply at her side. And she begins to walk for the door. And she opens the door and looks back at you. And goes, her eyes kind of finally meeting yours, and you can see kind of the wet stains across her cheeks. You're still a scoundrel. That's what's kept you alive this long. some ways. It's what's kept me alive this long. I've got a lot to think about. I want to go for a walk. I need some fresh air. And she closes the door behind her. You are put in shackles, brought and thrown into the same jail cell as Kaylie. As you're thrown and you hit the ground, you can see off in the corner of the cell, Kaylie, arms crossed, sitting on the ground. She kind of leans forward a little bit, and you can see the light kind of hits the side of her face, and she has a bit of a welt there and a bit of a black eye, but she doesn't look too worse for wear. As she leans forward, she goes, huh.
Like father, like daughter, eh?
You could say so. I heard you had quite a night last night at the bar.
Felt good. Like breaking faces.
Apparently you're very good at it. Got a glimpse of your victims over there.
They had it coming. Don't know why, but I had a feeling somewhere in their life they probably deserved it.
Most men do.
Yeah, you're right about that. Stay away from all men. Forever.
Oh, but they were fuckwits. Their faces were so punchable.
I know that feeling. Listen, I've come to get you out of here.
Apparently, he's not done that very well.
Don't worry, I've still got some tricks up my sleeve. Just wanted to make sure you're all right. Did they hurt you in any way?
Only one person's really hurt me recently.
Cold as ice.
Look, Scanlan. Father. I've spent a lifetime hating you. I'd imagined the moment we would finally meet for so long. Planned it out in my head. It all worked out. My idea of you. What she'd be like. What she'd say. And you know what? Up until last night, I was pretty spot on. Now I don't know what I wanted. I have a lot to process. To think about. But I prefer not to do it in this dank cell. So if you have a way out, please, now's the time to do it.
Think now? All right. Is anyone watching?
There are two guards that are not watching directly, but they're kind of like muscled up against the bars and just kind of keeping an eye over the shoulder.
I'll need a distraction. Do you think you can come up with one?
Her eyes kind of turn for a second and she goes, I think that can be done. She kind of leans up to the side of the bar and peeks her head out for a second. Closes her mouth with her, or cups it with her hand. And you start hearing from the opposite side of the room, through arcane ventriloquism, these three different male voices going, oh, fuck yeah! And you hear punches and you hear like all this screaming and chaos, at which point the two guards kind of look over. One of them gives the other notion and they both kind of run off to see the other side of the room. She looks back at you.
You'll have to teach me that trick. And then I dimension door us out onto the street.
As you reach for her, she still pulls away a little bit, but you still grab a hold and
Too soon?
puff of smoke. You guys appear outside, kind of landing a couple feet above the ground and catch yourselves. Kaylie begins stepping and she kind of stops and looks over her shoulder towards you, Scanlan, and says, don't come looking for me. When I'm ready, I'll come find you. She turns back around and leaves.
Shit.
Well, shit, Kaylie, weren't you just talking about him yesterday?
Oh, shit!
As your daughter stands behind him, kind of like holding two of the children, trying to protect him as you appeared, she looks up at you and goes, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
So what kind of business am I getting you out of now, father?
Well, not just getting me out of. I'm afraid we'll all die if you don't help.
Great, that's fantastic.
I'm sorry,
You've just banished all of these fine folks to their demise.
No,
I feel good.
No, I haven't. Not if you help. So, listen, I've been thinking a lot about you, and it's so wonderful to see you. And I just need you to trust me in this, and lend me your talents and your magic, if you can. Will you trust me today?
Doesn't seem like I really have much of a choice.
You can throw your voice. I've seen you do it once, right?
I can.
Can you change your voice?
I can.
Okay. Can you be the scariest fucking voice you've ever done in your entire life. I will tell you what to say. I'll whisper it to you. You just be the voice. I will be the visuals, all right? I'm going to create an image, and you're going to talk out of it, all right?
All right. Let's go.
Okay. So I will use just a minor illusion to create the head of Stonejaw Strongjaw.
They both stop and just kind of go, are you saying what I'm saying? The human's like, yeah. And there's just a moment of pause there, and Kaylie's looking at you like,
Okay, really quick. Here's your motivation. You're a dead Goliath. You were killed in combat by one of your own, and you probably sound really scary and fucked up. Ready? Go. Okay, I tell her I am Stonejaw Strongjaw.
she puts her hands together and clasps almost like the grass reeds that you blow into. But as she speaks into her hand, it sends out these rippling kind of almost like a heat distortion that just kind of scatters out from her hand, and outside of this central illusion, you hear a voice come moving forward.
I
Fuck yes.
am Stonejaw Strongjaw, returned from the realm of the dead.
Yes. That's good.
Turns
that's
to
good.
you.
Keep going. You're doing great. I love you. Okay. Kevdak's son Zanror killed me in dishonorable combat.
Kevdak's son Zanror killed me in dishonorable combat.
I can't go to the other side until I have avenged my death.
I cannot move on to the other side until I've avenged my death.
The Goliath goes, sorry then. And steps out of the room. The guy with the scraggled beard, who you gather is of a different type of a tribal background than the Goliath, just kind of gleans an eye untrustingly. Yeah, strong jaw, you say? How strong is that jaw of yours? And then throws an axe towards it. Just passes through and clatters behind.
Okay. Quick, say, you idiot, I am but a projection.
You idiot! I am but a projection.
The real Stonejaw is currently outside the main gate, waiting for a battle of revenge against Zanror. Send him now.
That's a lot.
I know. Sorry, Kaylie.
The real Zanror stands outside the city gate, waiting for vengeance against Zanror.
Great, you're doing great.
Bring him now, or you all shall suffer.
That last part was improv. That was amazing, Kaylie.
Thank you.
There's like a slight pause. Can I have my axe back?
I motioned to Dr. Dra to throw it back to him.
Runs over, feels for it, scatters around.
Throw it hard.
I will throw it hard.
No, don't say that part. Don't say that part. It's fine. You're doing
At
great.
which point he starts backing up towards the door. At which point the axe just clatters past him and like slams into the door behind him. He reaches up without looking away, grabs it. Kink. Thank you.
The main gate. The main gate.
The main gate.
Ow.
There's like 4 gates into the city. Which main gate?
I don't know. But do I know what it looks like?
The western gate.
The western gate. The western gate.
The western gate.
Right. I'll let him know. And he just leaves. Doesn't even touch the door and just bolts out the back. Moment of quiet.
Let's hope that works.
Dr. Dransel walks by.
To say you two make quite the team.
I would say that as well. Yes, I would. Thank you, Kaylie. That was better than I could have ever done.
That's true.
Do you have weapons? Can you protect yourself? Are you okay?
I can protect myself. Don't worry, Scanlan.
I'm just worried. I have to worry about you. I will always be worried about you. I'm sorry.
And you'll always be disappointed to find that I can take care of myself.
No, I won't be disappointed at all. In fact, that makes me quite happy.
Good. Can we be off then?
Well, all right. Okay, as long as you're happy, I'm happy.
Right.
Listen, I'm sorry. It's just I never get to see you, and I know we're in a rush here and everything. You can't listen. You can't hate away me being your father, all right? I will always be the guy. No matter how much you curse my name and wish I was not part of you, my blood is inside of you, and I'm sorry, people, but, you know, I care about you, all right?
All right. It's not going to stop me from trying to hate you away, but I get what you're saying.
Oi, short halt.
There's a stop, and Kaylie turns her head.
Hi.
She kind of drops Dranzel's arm and rushes forward and just gives you a hug. And then kind of lets go for a second, pushes away, and kind of...
Well, so you survived. That's good.
You too? I'm so happy that you're alive and safe. And I came a great distance to do other things, but mainly to see you, and I just wanted to say a few things before I go off to complete my mission. And, well, you know, I know I'm not the father that you wanted, but I'm the father that you have, and I'm sorry. And I just wanted to tell you that, you know, I've been doing a lot of thinking about you and me and where I fit into the life of a family man. And, well, most of my adult life I've been longing for a gnome to care for. And I met a really good one, and she's here, and her name's Pike, and she's beautiful and wonderful and possibly my soulmate, but I've learned that she's not my family and never will be. And you're the gnome that I'm to care for forever. And I'm doing something very stupid now with my friends. We're going to try to save the world, and I didn't know why, but now I know. And if we die doing it, it will be for a good thing. And if we don't, then, well, I'll find you, and I'll be whatever kind of father you need me to be, one who's close and helpful.
She shushes you, puts her finger up and shushes you. She steps up and looks you. The hardness in her face softens, and there is a little bit of tears gathering at the edge of her eyes, and she says, "Don't you die. You stay alive."
I don't intend to, but you know, I was just inside.
You're not going to die. You're gonna go do your stupid world-saving mission like you told me, and you're gonna come back, and we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
All right.
All right? Can you do that for me?
I promise you. I promise you.
I'll hold you to that.
Well, you do the same, all right? Stay safe. I got you a present. It's a ring. It's a beautiful ring because you're a beautiful girl. And I'd like you to keep it.
She takes it and looks at it and goes,
Are you sure this wasn't for someone else?
No, never.
she puts it on.
And you're also strong, and you'll need this sword. And I give her my singing dawn blade, which has a unique little imperfection at the bottom of it. And I say, this sword has killed a king, which makes it almost worthy enough for you. And I hope that it keeps you safe until I can see you again.
I don't know what to say. I'll start with thank you. Well, I feel pretty well protected.
Okay, get out of here if you can. Try to make your way to Vasselheim. There's 3 more dragons, and it'll be a while before I kill them all.
I don't know, you've done quite a bit of work in even just these past few weeks. Vasselheim. I'll talk it over with the doctor, see what he's interested in.
Okay.
You promised.
Gnome's honor.
And she kind of reaches up and grabs your shirt and gives you a kiss in the forehead. And then pushes you away and says, "Now out of my fucking face." Turns around and walks back towards Dr. Dranzel.